Okay, so happy to be here with you today. Happy Thursday, everybody. It's a great day to be alive. I'm so happy for today. Welcome back to the Best Listener in the Room podcast. My name is Matthew Deering. I'm here with Mr. Joey Sweeney and Mr. Brian Sweeney. Hello, gents.
What's up, buddy? Hey.
All right, as per the usual, we're going to jump right into our Bible verse of the day. Today's Bible verse is from Proverbs 19:21. It goes like this: Many are the plans in the mind of a man, but it is the purpose of the Lord that will stand. Again, many are the plans in the mind of a man, but it is the purpose of the Lord that will stand. And that is Proverbs 19:21. So we are wrapping up on our 5-part series on humility. And today we wanted to talk about the concept of losing control, of being willing to lose control. And I think this is sort of there's a reason here that it's last, because we are going to connect today to acting. But this is the culmination of fully allowing yourself to be humble will come from this place of being willing to let go. And once you understand you're not in control anyway, then good things are going to come from letting go.
For sure.
So we had a nice convo this morning. You missed out on this, Brian. You missed out on me demonstrating the wonderful concepts of the best listener in the room right here again today. Just
like you do a lot.
Yeah, but the more that we bring attention to it, I feel like it's this affirmation to keep doing it because it works. That's the interesting thing. Okay, so I'm gonna just talk about me, and I would love to talk about you, but I forgot to ask you before the show.
No, that's okay. Go ahead. I want to hear about you, Mr. Deering. Let me hear about you.
Okay, all right. So what I meant was when you guys got here this morning. So here's what happened. This morning, my wife and I were in a conversation, and the conversation got awkward. Now, the awkwardness of our conversation, me and my wife, just because it was a political thing.
Okay.
So nothing relational, like nothing, right? But I let my thoughts do what they do, and I started feeling emotional, right? I came in here, I started the turn down, I started the getting set up for the day, and before you know it, I found myself on the hammock playing on my iPad, just kind of like wasting time because my thoughts were controlling my feelings, and my feelings were controlling my, in this case, lack of action.
Okay.
Then what happened is I'm sitting on the hammock, and I hear your voice outside because you were yelling at Joey something.
Okay.
And you're like, meh, meh. And I was like,
that checks out.
So I pop out of the hammock, I run in here, and I start doing stuff, right? Okay. Now, a little bit later, I then bring this up to Joey.
Okay.
So first of all, the first demonstration is the demonstration of negative thoughts having a negative impact on my life and potentially, just sort of pausing my day for however long it's going to do until I can finally get a hold of my thoughts. Okay. So Again, power thoughts. But then being willing to speak it out loud to Joey, it released the shackles that were around my ankles. And that's the whole dark to light concept. So the more you bring it up and the quicker you bring it up, the less time you're spending in this place of falsehood, this place of like, I'm trying to pretend like I'm something that I'm not.
Yeah, sure.
And even something as tiny and simple as that is you pretending to be something you're not.
No, I totally feel that. And I especially like in the older days, like in the very beginning when I was way worse with like trying to show you something in the morning. I remember this, like when you would call and I'd see it ring, I'd jump up and try and be more up than I had been to sound more up on the phone than I actually was. And we used to talk about this, and you even walked me through that, right?
Yeah.
So it's the same idea. That makes total sense to me.
So good. And in the bringing dark to light too, I think there's this other thing that's attached to today, which would be the releasing of control.
Yes. Okay.
right? Because if I'm trying to hold on to my image,
Yeah, sure.
I'm trying to hold on to my reputation, and therefore, whether you notice it or not, there is this there's this underneath feeling of falsehood, right? And so until I've released it, even if you don't feel it, I know it.
So, like, to be clear, the release is that losing of control. You let go of control by releasing it, by being honest about it, by
Yeah.
being dark to light.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm not in control, and therefore it propels you forward because whether you realize it or not, there's this weight that's laying on you.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
So to relate this directly to acting now, I'm gonna use improvisation, but the truth of the matter is our program is built for a very specific reason. We have script and we have improv, and we believe that great scripted work should look and sound and feel like improv, and great improv should look and sound and feel like a scripted, rehearsed play or TV show or something. And so to be done right, both of them are never gonna hit that perfect holy grail, but that's what we're going for. Okay, so therefore, improv actually relates to all of acting, not just improvisation. Okay, that's been said. So in improvisation, we find ourselves constantly wanting to be in control.
Totally. Yes.
Constantly wanting to have some kind of a net underneath us, some kind of a safety zone, knowing what I'm going to say next, having an idea for where the story's going to go, because it feels safe and it feels like, oh, it'll be better then.
Yeah, we even talked on this last week in last week's podcast about that idea of initiations and how they can be that sometimes. You know, you plan that from the side, how you're going to enter and what's going to happen in the scene and where we're going to take the play and all that stuff, even through your initiation or through a character that you've built that you know is a solid character or a solid voice that usually hits. So you bring it out because you want it to hit.
Yeah. Yeah. And so by losing control, by allowing yourself to give over and lose control, what we don't realize is that is actually the definition of improv. So if you're not doing that, you're literally not improvising.
It's not improv. Yeah, totally. 100%. No improv there.
Full stop.
Full stop.
Full stop.
So with that, and forgive me, I was double checking to just make sure the YouTube audio is great, and it is. So yay! But I did miss. Did we do that verse in the beginning, or did we not say the Bible verse yet?
He said the verse.
You did.
I
Okay.
repeated it.
Yeah, I was just double. That's why I said I was. To be clear, I was doing that, and so I was out in that moment, and I'm forgetting if we did it or not.
No,
Okay.
it's good to ask.
Thank
if
you.
you don't know.
Yeah.
That's why I was. Hey, dark to light. Super honest. I
Light.
couldn't remember if
Dark
we
to
hit it or
light.
not.
We
Thank
did do the Bible verse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a proverb. It's a good one.
It's
What
great.
I had a point about the improv real quick.
Yeah. Let's
go.
hear it.
Based on
Please.
that is I feel like that's kind of a defense mechanism when you go out with an idea like that and you're trapping yourself
Yeah.
because you think I'll understand this. You know what I mean? If you're presenting it,
Right.
your idea, you're like, it's a little less nerve-wracking in your head, you think, because you're like, I know what I'm doing, I know where I am, versus that initial fear of walking out on stage.
me trying to figure out what
and
you're
figure-
doing.
Yeah. Like having that point of emphasis of figuring it out together.
Right.
But I feel like that can be a sticking point where, like, in your head, you're like, oh, because I know what I'm doing, that's helpful. But in reality, when you find it together, it's so much better.
Can I ask you something, Joey? I'm pretty curious about.
Yeah.
So I think you have a really unique point of view right now when it comes to the improv program because you were so involved for so long, and then you stepped away for a minute because you moved out to Colorado. So then you've come back, and now you're 2 feet back in, right? So I'd like to know, because to us it feels like grass growing sometimes. You know, you're developing a program, you are making shifts, you're making changes, etc. But it's like, because it feels like I'm repeating tons, but it's definitely not what we were teaching when you used to be here, or at least not in the same way, etc. So I'm curious to hear from you. what you notice different, maybe what struggles you've had, and maybe also what epiphanies have come your way. So it's sort of a 3-part question.
Yeah, thank you. Great question. To start with, I love improv. So it's great to be back doing it, but it is different than it used to be. Before, I would play for myself and like the people that I bring and want to have a good show. And now
you would play for yourself. So even in the class, you'd be playing for yourself.
Yeah, like I'm trying to win. Like I'm trying to win the drill. I'm trying to be the funniest.
When the classmates over.
Like,
yeah.
So then, okay, great. So this is it. That would be potentially a personal growth, okay. But I'm also curious. Then, is there something in the way it was presented after you came back that helped flip that switch for you, or was that a new perspective that you were already bringing in? Because I am interested in the difference in the program as well.
Yeah, no, it's a little bit of both. I like the expos caught me by surprise. And the way they're presented, the way they're taught.
Because we used to do who, what, where?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just like, we used to have a sheet of improv rules. Brian talked about this in rehearsal.
Yeah.
That you don't break. And it's like, but you can break them. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's not an emphasis anymore. And I think that's a good thing because it shouldn't be. Like it should be taught the things that move a scene forward. And I think that's the biggest like growth point in class now is that's really been like buckled down, the way you teach it and the way you describe it to where it's understood not just by whoever's on stage, but also the people in the seats.
Yeah, and it's funny how that happened because the reason I'm teaching it like that is because no other reason than I now understand it better than I did. So I was teaching something that I had learned. You know, I took many improv classes and went through a whole bunch of different programs, and so I took the culmination of everything I had learned and read and created the best program possible. And then as I started to have like these big light bulb moments, I would go, well, if we're teaching it this way, is it possible then we're going to have to unteach it? And then if that's the case, then why would we ever teach it in the first place if we don't have to? So then it brings up the next question, which was like, do we have to? And then you get to an answer, and sometimes it's yes and sometimes it's no. But it was like, yeah, that's interesting because you're right. It's like this. It was more so than being these rules to live by. It became a better question, which was like, why does the rule exist in the first place? What's the why underneath the concept, and what are the real true elements that drive an improv scene?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it also came from even we would go back and forth and then work through something and start as we were working through the lesson plan and hearing it and doing it together. We would hear and you would discover like, oh, what if we did this? What if we did that? It was in a sense, it was its own version of improv. It was very much happening in the moment where we were discovering those things and rechanging and redeveloping by like working them in that moment.
And it's so funny. I've always been that way. You know, you guys know that because you've been around me a very, very long time. But if you guys have never been in the studio when we're concocting things, this has always just been in me. You know, so you guys would laugh about this, but time and time again, I grab a dry erase marker and I go to the board like I'm a coach and I try to draw up plays. You know, I try to draw up, if there's a better way to teach, I want to teach it that way. And I am not interested in having someone stay at my program for 3 years because I want to keep them for 3 years. If I can teach them 3 years worth of knowledge in a day, I want to do that in one day. And I want you to stay just because we're reiterating the same thing and you're getting better, but not because I'm holding back on information and not sharing everything with you right away.
Yeah. It's not a level system either.
Right. That's why. And that's where I got away from that from like forever ago.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't remember, like, I'm pretty sure when I was teaching here, we weren't doing levels already. No. But yeah, it's that idea of understanding the moves, where they come from, when to use them. And I was telling Brian, like, another thing about improv is 90% of it is confidence. the initial confidence to just go out, make a choice,
Yeah.
and trust that your partner's got your back.
So there you go. Which again brings us back to the best listener in the room. So confidence, listening starts with confidence, right? Beginning of my speech, earned confidence. So you're right. Everything starts from confidence.
Yeah.
From confidence, you just said trust. Trust is letting go. If I don't let go, if I don't have trust in you, I'm still holding on to control.
Yep.
And therefore I can't listen. And I always say people are operating on top of the scene, or they're tense or whatever. And that place is not only like, can you not listen, but you sometimes will accidentally cause a visceral reaction in your scene partner as well. And
Yeah, that's so funny.
no, he snuck it. I know he snuck it.
I'm very sneaky.
He wanted to see a close up of himself.
Yeah.
Well, I was so
He's
captivated.
like,
Can I see anything?
I really want to see it. It was so Brian could cut to himself. Right?
Yeah, it was so that I could put more focus on me. Yeah,
Well,
totally.
No,
It
no.
was your answers. I wanted you to be able to focus on your answers and not have to worry about going back to the board.
That's hilarious. Okay.
That's funny that you didn't notice that too.
No, 'cause I was locked in.
I know.
And
That's
then
why
you were probably like, "Oh no, I
And I
haven't."
was like, I haven't switched in a second. And then I was like,
'Cause I've been doing
where's
it.
the switch?
I've been switching it.
Let's go, Brian.
I'm
Guys,
switching it
stepping
over
up,
here.
stepping up.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. And I before our last show, I got to play with the collective because Ryan's feet were messing with him. But I was excited about that. And when we were huddled up, I just you had told me this, but I reminded them, like, play for each other. Have fun, come out on like from the sides, play for each other,
Yeah.
and we'll justify as we go along.
And I think this particular concept resonates with me so deeply because when I started out in improv, I knew that I didn't know what I didn't know. Okay?
Which is a really, like, just side note, that's a really great place to already start from.
Yes.
Because that's a hurdle a lot of people have to jump.
Having said that, even though I knew I didn't know what I didn't know, I decided to start an improv program. Okay? That whether anyone realizes it or not, this is a small town. I got landblasted by the community. People hated me who were in the improv community because they're like, how could you be doing improv? You're not an improviser.
That's facts. I saw it.
Okay.
Facts.
And here's the problem is I said, I don't disagree with you, but I'm a teacher. I know how to communicate ideas, and I wasn't trying to compare myself to them, but like better than you do. So if I understand a concept and I can make someone better, it's valuable to them. Let me help them get better. That whether or not I'm better than you on the stage is irrelevant to whether or not I can help someone else get better. So if I can help someone else get better faster than you can help that person get better, I think I should be teaching it, right? So anyway, that's what I did. And then we ended up starting a troupe again. So like I started a troupe and I'm not great. I knew I wasn't, I was okay, but I wasn't good. And then, so what do? We recruited some of the best talent in Arizona, surrounded ourselves with great players, right? So then we became kind of known already, like boom, like we've got some of the A-listers in town are on our troupe, right?
Yeah.
Well, then I still don't know what I don't know. So then some of the best players, when I reflect back, I didn't know how to handle them. I didn't know how to be on stage with them. I had very much a director's mindset because I got stuck directing our troupe and we were doing short form. So I was in the director role for like years.
Yeah.
So my job was to control the show. Because in short form, you're supposed to sort of do that in a way. So my job was to control and to make sure that we didn't get too far off the rails or that we're not family friendly or whatever. And so to unwind that sense of control, that sense of like trying to direct where the direction of the show was going was like an impossibility for me. And I didn't even know how bad it was until I finally had my light bulb moment.
So that goes to directors and anybody, right? Like that idea of that control and how easy it is to try and over control it, right?
Well, yeah, but no, sort of. So the director actually, your job is to control. Like that is your job is to control the show, but you are the director. You're not in the show. That's what I'm saying. Like if you're,
I got you.
If you're
Okay,
in an
that makes
improv scene, you cannot direct the improv scene from inside the scene, and that's what I used to try to do. Because much like you were saying, and everybody else is like, when they're struggling, is like they're trying so bad to get their ideas across because they want to feel safe or they want it to be good. I mean,
Yeah.
I might just think like my idea is a good one and I want the show to be great, and it's not even like selfish. It's more like I think this idea is going to be awesome, but I'm not improvising.
Yeah, absolutely. Gotcha.
That's the craziest part about it, right?
Yeah.
So you guys want to hear about my light bulb moment before we
Yeah, let's do
before we
that.
flip this?
And then also, I'd love on the way out, just like how people can start applying this a little better would be awesome.
Sure, absolutely. So this was what happened to me. I was in New York, and we were doing our troupe got into a festival out there, so we were getting to surround ourselves with some of the best improvisers on the planet, and so you would go to workshops, and then you could go and see. At night, you could see some of the best improvisers, and these were all people who either had just made it, like who's the crazy guy from the what's the fantasy football show?
The League.
The League, yeah, the crazy one from the
Rafi?
League. Yeah, Rafi.
Rafi,
Yeah,
that's
so
right.
I saw him everywhere. Like he was in the bars hanging out, and like and like he was in shows. Like that's where he started, was on this improv stage, right? Like that's that guy, and he was just himself. He wasn't Rafi, but he's a great actor. You know, hilarious. You know, and crazy, but hilarious. And so so it was people like that, right? So he had just sort of just come into fame. And then you'd see people where you're like, okay, this guy is gonna be famous. You can just feel it because their shows are just so good, and they have this like understanding, and they're right on the edge. You can just tell that they're about to land something. And so there was this one actor who was that way. And I saw a couple of his shows, and I'm like, this one, like, so good. And I wanted to take a workshop so bad. So I did. I found a way to get into this guy's workshop the next day after one of his shows. And I'm listening to him, and I'm like so excited because he teaches the play. He teaches the long form idea. And what he said, it was such a like shot to my ego. And it didn't mean to be. It wasn't about me, but it was the antithesis of what I thought was correct. Because he was doing the thing that I used to hate that people did to me. What I thought, like Darren Schmidt or some of our older improvisers that were so brilliant, but they would throw me a curveball, and I thought that they were hurting me in the scene, but it turns out that they weren't, but I didn't know, right? So that's where it was like the shot to my ego. He said that especially in the best of the best shows, but in just about every one of his shows, about 3/4 of the way through, he throws in something that is just totally off the wall. Like that does not belong. So dumb that it would never work in a bazillion years. And then he explained the why. And once he did that, I was like, oh, I've been doing it wrong this whole time. And also, no wonder it's been so hard for me. No wonder I've clawed and scratched to just be okay, but I just haven't had the freedom of letting go.
Because it's easier when you do.
Yes.
That's the important part.
There's a freedom. When you understand you're not improvising if you do that, then you go, okay, well, let me try improvising. And then you're like, oh, okay. Like, I can do that.
Yeah.
But it requires faith, it requires trust, and it requires confidence. So you have to do it. You have to be doing it constantly, right? And then you have to walk out and go, I trust the people around me, and I even trust myself if you guys screw up. Like, I trust myself to listen deeper, listen harder, and continue to get in the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was the big aha moment.
Yeah, I remember that, and I remember how much everything shifted after that inside of what we did, what you did as an improviser, and it really did. It changed everything. And
it's still the process of shifting, but because when it first shifted, it was like I didn't know how to shift. I just knew I can't teach the way I used to, so I try to keep, and that's where the learning process comes, where it's like, okay, we used to pass out the rules, then we stopped calling them rules, started calling them guidelines. Then we would pass them out, but be like, but don't worry about it. And then we're like, why are we passing them out?
Yeah, totally, 100%.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I
so
love
good.
that.
All right, so you wanted to come back to
I guess
a
I want
takeaway.
a takeaway. Like how can they go, and based on what you just said, even Rome wasn't built in a day, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to take time. But what are things that these viewers right now could do at home that are going to allow them to move in that right direction?
Okay, so I would say, great takeaway for you guys. I'm going to go back to the old God here. I'm going to go back to that Bible verse, Brian. I'm going to read it for you.
Love it. And I will listen this time.
Keep your headphones on, buddy.
Headphones are on. I'm not listening to the YouTube.
Or if you listen to the YouTube, just listen to the
Listen to both.
the
Yeah,
Proverbs,
absolutely. Yeah.
All right, here we
Pay
go.
attention.
So this is Proverbs 19:21. Many are the plans in the mind of a man, but it is the purpose of the Lord that will stand. Many are the plans in the mind of a man, but it is the purpose of the Lord that will stand. So I'm going to say, first of all, one way to lose control, if I want to give you a takeaway, would be start opening up the book. If you start reading the Bible, that will change your life, and it will help you to start losing control in a lot of areas of your life, including on the stage. It's a big, big deal. Letting go of the idea of control is like it's massive, and acting and life are completely connected. So if you can't do it in the one area, you're going to really struggle in the other. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's that. And then if you just take this Bible verse and kind of like massage it to be about improv, it's going to be like, many are the plans in your mind as the actor coming out thinking you have your ideas and your motives and your direction and the way you want it to go, but the improv scene is going to go the way the improv scene is going to go. And you trying to push your ideas is just going to make it struggle to get there, but it's still going to go in the way it's going to go, whether or not you fight it or not. Like you can just like grind, or you can go, let's go. Let's find out where this is going to go together. And it can feel smooth or it can feel hard.
Absolutely.
That work for you, bud?
That is perfect. Yep. And I'll now say, to get you to your wrap up, before we wrap it up, make sure to like, subscribe, comment. We love you guys as audience members. We're here continuing our podcast, so keep looking out for those cool topics. And I'll pass it back to you, Matt.
Thanks so much, everybody, for listening to the Best Listener in the Room podcast. We're going to end with a nice wink from Joey.
Oh, that's me.